Forget whatever plans you have this weekend because you're staying at home and playing on SpinQuest. And there's never been a better time to sign up than right now. New users get $30 coin packs for just $10. All the table games you love, with hundreds of slot games and real cash prizes. That's at spinquest.com. SPINQUEST.com.
SpinQuest is a free-to-play social casino. Void where prohibited. Visit spinquest.com for more details.
I cashed out my entire 401k thinking someone stole my identity.
A fake email cost me my dream home after I sent my personal information to a scammer.
My AI agent wired thousands to an account I'd never seen.
When billions of people feel unsafe, that's no longer a security problem. It's an economic one. At Gen, we're building the trust layer for a more fearless planet with products and technologies from our global brands, Norton, LifeLock, Avast, and MoneyLion. See it in action at gendigital.com.
I cashed out my entire 401k thinking someone stole my identity.
A fake email cost me my dream home after I sent my personal information to a scammer.
My AI agent wired thousands to an account I'd never seen.
When billions of people feel unsafe, that's no longer a security problem. It's an economic one. At Gen, we're building the trust layer for a more fearless planet with products and technologies from our global brands, Norton, LifeLock, Avast, and MoneyLion. See it in action at gendigital.com.
Hello, I'm Anya Lichtarowicz, and this is Somewhere on Earth, your weekly look at technology and its impact on our everyday lives. It is Tuesday, the 9th of June, 2026. Welcome to the Global Tech Podcast. Coming up today. This week we're looking at two very different ways artificial intelligence is being put to work to solve real-world problems. First, while wildlife trafficking is often associated with rhino horns and elephant ivory, a thriving illegal trade in marine species is taking place around the world. Researchers in Australia have developed an AI-powered detection system that can identify trafficked shark fins, seahorses and sea cucumbers hidden inside luggage and parcels, potentially giving customs officers a powerful new tool in the fight against wildlife crime. Then we turn to the challenges facing small businesses. As accounting regulations become more complex and the profession faces a shortage of experienced accountants, one UK startup is using AI to help business owners navigate tax rules, bookkeeping and compliance systems using information grounded in official government guidance. That's Somewhere on Earth, where tech meets humanity. When we think about wildlife trafficking, we often picture rhino horns or elephant ivory being smuggled across borders, but a less visible trade is taking place beneath the waves. Marine species such as shark fins, seahorses and sea cucumbers are also being trafficked around the world, threatening already vulnerable populations and damaging ocean ecosystems. Detecting these products can be difficult because they're often hidden inside luggage, parcels or other everyday items. Now researchers in Australia have developed an AI-powered system that uses CT scanner images to identify commonly trafficked marine wildlife. In tests, the technology was able to detect shark fins, seahorses and sea cucumbers with an accuracy of more than 90%. Dr. Vanessa Pirotta is a wildlife scientist at Rapid Scan Systems and Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia. I started by asking her how big a problem was marine life smuggling and why it doesn't get as much attention as the smuggling of land animals.
That is a very good question, because immediately when I think of the global illegal trade of wildlife, I too think of rhinos, elephants, pangolins. These are the land-based iconic species that are usually kind of like the flagship species to draw in people's attention. But as a marine scientist who had an opportunity to work on trying to stop illegal wildlife trafficking, there was this real big need to highlight the fact that this is happening to marine creatures that people just didn't know about. So we've kind of got a problem that people either know about the illegal wildlife trade or not. And if they do, they only know about land-based animals being trafficked. So this paper and the whole idea of us talking about a lot of the work we're doing is to highlight to the world that marine wildlife trafficking is a thing. And from what we know about it, a lot of the iconic marine species are involved, such as shark fin, seahorse, sea cucumbers, and there's probably a variety of other species that we maybe know about but are not well documented in the literature, or where wildlife trade has huge gaps in it.
So, what kind of impact does the removal of these types of animals have on the ocean's ecosystems?
Wildlife trafficking refers to the illegal movement and deliberate of animals from the wild and across borders. And the implications, regardless if it's in land or in the marine environment, can have massive flow-on effects. And so the actual movement or removal of an animal from the wild can have flow-on effects in terms of disrupting natural ecosystems. It can remove keystone species, potentially species that play important roles in the marine environment or on land. And then when it comes to having these animals that are removed from the environment, the introduction of exotic animals, whether it be through introduction as pets or I don't want this animal anymore, I'm just going to get rid of it, that could have massive implications to disrupting local natural biodiversity, the local environment. This also could have economic impacts. And when I say the word economic, people listen. So if you've got an animal that's introduced into a really pristine environment, you could have a disruption of natural agricultural industries, which could, for some nations, could be worth billions. So there's a huge, big problem with both the movement of marine creatures through wildlife trade, illegal that is, and also those on land. And so when I think about the answering this question, I think about both, and the fact that there could be flow-on effects for humans and a negative impact. And one of those most recent and something that resonates with a lot of people is the idea of zoonosis, which we saw through the COVID pandemic.
So you and your team have developed an AI system that can identify shark fins, seahorses and sea cucumbers that are hidden in luggage. Explain how the technology works.
We all hear about AI, and in this case, I'm kind of going AI for good, and this is not a replacement for humans. So I just want to start off by saying that. So currently, the way in which we detect trafficking is reliant on human inspection. So someone at a border to go, I think you've got something in your bag, and those really cool sniffer dogs, the biosecurity dogs. So that's two current methods. AI, in our case, we are using computers as a complementary means of detection. So essentially this works by presenting a computer with what a shark fin or a seahorse or a sea cucumber looks like. Okay, so we do that. We show it, we scan it, and it learns, okay, so this is what it looks like in its most simplest form. Then we start complicating a scenario. So over time, we can teach a computer to look for detecting this item in a mail or traveler pathway. So if you had a shark fin, for example, in your bag right now, and you went through an airport, a computer fitted with this algorithm will be able to decipher the fact that there's something in the bag that looks familiar to it because we've taught it to recognize it. So essentially, it's like a really nice streamlined, complementary idea that we place these algorithms at frontline so that as well as looking for explosives or bomb detection, what we are scanning for at airports, we too can be looking out for wildlife trafficking.
Now that's all well and good.
What's going on, everyone? It's Bluff here, and we're driving through the states in the Bluff-mobile, and the best thing that we can do is play our favorite casino-style games on SpinQuest. They have over 1,000 games, including live dealer blackjack and craps, with tons of slots and unlimited options. You can get a $30 coin pack for just $10 for new users. Sign up today. Go to spinquest.com right now.
SpinQuest is a free-to-play social casino. Void where prohibited. Visit spinquest.com for more details.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Using CT scanners, you've got them in place at border control. They can pull you over, random checks, or if someone looks a bit suspicious. Great, and you've created an algorithm that is going to recognise, the shark fin. However, smugglers are probably going to try and disguise it, aren't they? Have you done anything with the AI and the technology to say, oh, you need to also look out for this and this and this?
I love this because the reality is I've seen cases of wildlife trafficking where people have just had no attempt to conceal animals, and then others have been very clever. And I've got to say, just from my own personal opinion, the illegal trade of wildlife is not, it's quite sophisticated, and sometimes it's done along other crime. So people doing this are not, they're not silly about what they're doing. And I don't endorse the activity, but what it does show us is that as scientists, we need to be creative and adaptive. And the use of 3D X-ray tomography and the development of algorithms means that we too can use the tech to adapt to how traffickers are adapting and how they're going about their new ways of trafficking and trying to conceal these creatures. And some of the cases that I've seen here in Australia with live animals, not marine in particular, although we have had in Australia, one thing I will say, there was a gentleman who had a fish in a bag. So it's like you've just bought a fish from a pet store that's in a bag, and then they tried to smuggle it in a bag. So people can actually traffic live fish, which is crazy. But one of the things we want to do is make sure that we account for how people are trying to conceal and get away with doing the wrong thing. And so that's why this research, while it's one idea, the work that we do is ongoing, because we need to keep adapting and learning how different methods are being done around the world. Because reality is we still don't know how people are trafficking wildlife, but we know that we need to be adaptable and we need good communications with others who are trying to stop this activity as well.
Saying that, though, I mean, you did have quite a good accuracy rate. It was over 90%, wasn't it?
Yes, so we can't put out something without trialing it. And so one of the main troubles we had was actually having enough data. So it means a number of samples. So the algorithm team have been very clever and been able to use the physical samples that we have. And I'm talking about dried shark fin available from medicinal medicine stores, and also formerly seized animals, so seahorses that were actually seized in trafficking cases. But the reality is we can't get millions and millions of these samples to be able to create more examples and increase our sample size. So the algorithm team were able to use convolutional neural networks, or CNN, if I've said that correctly. And so it's essentially having samples and then making other types of that sample to increase our sample size, so that we can present a computer with a challenge where it's got complicated to more simple scenarios. And so it can decipher between a banana versus a shark fin, or plastic toys that are sometimes put there to try and disguise what people are trafficking. So it's quite the effort, but it's also a really promising tool going forward to show that AI can be complementary, not necessarily taking over jobs, but definitely another tool in our toolbox to try and stamp out this activity.
And when do you think you could have a wider deployment of this? Because it's only going to be effective if it is widely used, isn't it?
That's a really, really good point. Absolutely. So there's only, as a scientist and a group of scientists, we can only do this with so much resources that we have. The idea is to make this worldwide applicable. There is obviously talk about open architecture, so making sure that everyone has access to this kind of software. We've only tested this in one type of machine that we're using. Obviously, I'm working for Rapiscan Systems, which is one type of many around the world to try and stamp out the removal of other security items. So this is very much a watch and learn, and let's work together to try and make sure that we can collectively use these ideas. We already know that our methodology that we published back in 2022 and now is being adapted and used elsewhere around the world. So the contribution to science, but the reminder as to why we do this, to stop the illegal trade of wildlife, whether it be from the ocean, which you now know about, or on land, is a cruel activity that should be stopped. And we shouldn't be seeing this. And if AI can help us do that, that's a great thing going forward.
Dr. Vanessa Pirotta talking about her latest research that was published in the journal Frontiers in Ocean Sustainability. A huge thank you to everyone who has left us a 5-star review on their podcasting provider. Please keep up the good work. Our listener numbers are up by close to 1,000 in the last month. And an even bigger thank you to those of you who pay to subscribe. It really keeps the show running. For just $10 a month, you can subscribe for an ad-free extended version of the show. Just search pod.fan, Somewhere on Earth podcast, and subscribe. For many small business owners, accountants are an essential source of advice and support. But accountancy fees can be expensive, and with new reporting requirements coming into force in the UK, demand for professional help is only expected to increase. At the same time, the accounting profession itself is facing a shortage of experienced practitioners, raising questions about how smaller businesses and sole traders will access the guidance they need. One startup believes artificial intelligence could help bridge that gap. By combining AI with official tax guidance and regulations, it has developed a tool designed to answer business owners' questions about bookkeeping, expenses, VAT, and tax compliance in real time. The company says its platform isn't intended to replace accountants, but to handle routine queries and provide instant access to information, leaving professionals free to focus on more complex advice. I asked founder and CEO of WiseMind AI, Jake Leeming, what his company does and why it can help business owners.
The problem we're trying to solve is a multitude on various levels. So at its core, it's how inaccessible and how expensive accountancy fees are for the advice and guidance that business owners need on a daily basis to help them with their accounts in general, structure everything properly. There is nothing really apart from accountants that can do this for them. With the fees rising and the amount of businesses rising, there's a big shortfall between what business owners can have access to, what it costs and what they need. And it's the lower level businesses, the SMEs, micro, one-man band sort of companies that this hits hardest for.
And it is quite an expense, actually, to get an accountant to have them check everything, all your bookkeeping, or even do your bookkeeping for you, some people have. And for small businesses, it is quite a large percentage of their expenses, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Compliance is only rising as well. With MTD now live as of April 2026, small business owners are going to have to do more and more.
Hang on, run that past me. MTD, that's making
tax digital.
Yeah. It's making tax digital. And this is a UK tax office new initiative. It's completely changing the way we're managing our taxes.
Yeah, so now business owners, when you fall within the right criteria, instead of only having to file once a year like we've always done traditionally, you now have to file 4 or 5 times a year, once a quarter and a final statement at the end. So the accountant's work is going up, the compliance and admin burden on business owners is going up, and the cost with that is also rising. And that's just for your basic, here's my account, I need to stay legal, can you submit them for me? That's not for guidance and help to how do I structure salary and dividends? Should I have a pension? What sort of pension should I have? As a sole trader, can I claim these expenses? How do I manage my books? What about this? So there's all of these things that are sort of left by the wayside at the moment, and it's going to become a big shortfall for business owners and sole traders in the coming months and years.
And also there's a shortage of accountants as well, isn't there? Not that many people want to do that job.
Yeah, they're really struggling to sort of recruit at the moment. I think in the last 10 years, we've lost 100 and something thousand accredited accountants. And my research has indicated that over the next decade, we're due to lose 75% of the older, more experienced accountants to retirement and other roles and responsibilities.
So you're going to use technology to solve all these problems and these new demands that are coming in. Tell me about the tech that you're using.
So we use AI as the brain, but what we have done is sort of stripped it away so it only pays attention to finance and business. It's only grounded in HMRC's verified data with .gov.uk, so it doesn't listen to social media, chat forums, and it's not just another generic AI. When you onboard, it learns about you and your business and your situation. So when you ask it a question, it gives you instant answers about your business. So then it'll explain to you what the tax law says, how it pertains to you and your business, and what your next steps are.
And how would I use it? So I'd come onto your website, I'd sign up, and then what happens?
Yeah, so you can come on and sign up. There's a free version where you get 5 questions a month. So sort of people who only need 1 question a month sort of thing can have it free in access, and it's really nice and easy. You go through the signing up process where you'll fill out a short questionnaire about your business, and then you'll come through onto the dashboard, which will give you like a tax timeline, pertinent topics and questions. It'll have your chat history and summary, because one of the things that we sort of struggled with other AIs is finding where you spoke about something. So we built a function into the dashboard where you can find, where did I ask about my van? Where did I last ask about that? Oh, I know I've asked that question about expenses before, but I can't remember. So save you asking it again, you can just search a chat. And then you'll get through to the core of the product. You'll be able to ask it a question, and it will take all of this data from HMRC, all of the data it knows about you, and sort of form its answer based on verified sources and the verified data you give it, to give you an instant accessible answer to teach you about the problem and help you along your way.
So basically, I could ask those silly questions that you forget about. How do I classify this transaction? Or what should I put this particular expense I have under which category? And that is all answered by AI. I can then put all the information into my software, submit it all to HMRC, and it should all be done. Is that correct?
So in theory, yes. However, we do always suggest that you use an accountant, because they are the professionals. We all know AI is potential to make mistakes. Although we've taken significant steps to reduce the amount of mistakes it can make, it is still liable to the odd 1 or 2. And it's more around the grey case problems, sort of your really sort of tricky, individual, weird sort of problems. All of your normal stuff like VAT, compliance, tax, it's effectively just maths and numbers. If it knows all the maths and numbers, it can easily work it out.
So, in effect, what you're doing is you're taking those little itsy bitsy things that your accountant might do now, you're getting the AI to do it, and then you're presenting like, this is my accounts for this quarter. Here you go. Just check them. Make sure they're okay.
Yeah, effectively, that's how it is. So our last use case, someone had a VAT bill, unexpected, won their first export case to Canada, got hit with a £500 VAT bill, didn't think they were liable, phoned their accountant who didn't answer, logged on to WiseMind. Within 5 minutes, it told him why he wasn't liable for the VAT, showed him the relevant part within the HMRC documentation, which then gave him the confidence to push back against the vendor, and it was later confirmed by his accountant the next day or the day after.
So an instantaneous answer, here you go. AI was right because it had access to all that HMRC, that British Tax Office information, and you didn't even need a person.
Yeah, you sort of only need a person when you cross over from that sort of guidance to advice. Like, it can help you with, should you pay into a pension, and it'll explain the different types of pensions available to you as a business owner, but it will not tell you what specific investment vehicle to go for. That is a regulated advice, and you should speak to a financial advisor for it.
Jake Leeming, founder and CEO of WiseMind AI. And Jake will also be at East Mid's Tech Week pitching his business to investors. Please do come along if you can. Tickets are free and available on the East Mid's Tech Week website. And that is all for this week. The production manager is Liz Toohey and I'm the editor. Until next week, bye-bye.
Ugh, I have had no luck lately. Wait, lady luck?
Britsky, I got you. I've had so much luck on SpinQuest.com. They have all of my favorite games, slot games, live blackjack, craps, and bubble craps. You can even get a $30 coin pack for just $10.
$10 for 30? I'm headed over to SpinQuest.com right now.
SpinQuest is a free-to-play social casino. Void where prohibited. Visit SpinQuest.com for more details.